You're in a heated argument, but you handle it perfectly. You stay calm, validate their feelings, and politely ask for a moment to breathe. Instead of cooling things down, the other person erupts. They treat your calm attempt to de-escalate the situation like a direct threat. A boundary is interpreted as rejection through our historical attachments, past traumas, and the survival strategies we learned long ago. This diagram illustrates the internal translator. It's a subconscious cognitive filter that sits right in the middle of our communication, assigning meaning to other people's words based on our past. Let's say you tell someone, "I need time to think," to stop a destructive argument before it starts. But an unhealed translator corrupts that exact phrase into a terrifying message: "You are leaving me." The words haven't changed. The internal software translating those words is completely broken. There is a toxic myth that a highly emotionally intelligent person must be a bottomless well of accommodation, someone who constantly absorbs other people's emotional chaos. That is not emotional intelligence. That is emotional labor without boundaries. It is emotional submission. True empathy means you can understand someone's pain and recognize exactly what triggered them, but you absolutely do not have to accept responsibility for healing them. Understanding why someone behaves toxically gives you context. It does not give them permission to mistreat you. Real emotional intelligence requires boundaries. People who grew up around instability become biologically accustomed to emotional intensity. To an unhealed heart, conflict and chasing feel completely normal. When they encounter someone who refuses to yell or participate in chaos, it shocks their system. That sudden stability initially feels strange, suspicious, and wrong. This is a biological trap. The nervous system recognizes what is familiar long before it recognizes what is healthy. Familiarity is falsely flagged as safe, and unfamiliar peace is falsely flagged as dangerous. This broken threat detection system processes accountability the same way. When you make a healthy statement like, "This behavior hurt me," the unhealed translator instantly hears, "You are a terrible person." This mistranslation triggers immediate defensiveness. They shift the blame, counterattack, and accuse the person setting the boundary of being judgmental. Communication is a two-person exchange. You can deliver a message with perfect integrity, but you cannot control how another person's history chooses to interpret you. This diagram shows how mature emotional intelligence operates. It moves in two directions simultaneously: outward empathy toward others and inward self-respect toward yourself. Empathy without boundaries leads to absolute exhaustion. Compassion without discernment makes you highly vulnerable to manipulation. Doing the work to heal actually updates your internal translator. Basic interactions lose their hidden threats. No simply means no, and a request for space just means a need for regulation. Healing alters the interpreter inside us. It takes accountability and turns it from a source of shame into simple, neutral information. The goal of healing isn't to become an emotionless robot who never gets triggered or overwhelmed. The goal of emotional maturity is developing the awareness to recognize whether a feeling belongs strictly to the present moment or if it's an echo of a much older wound. The next time you find yourself in the middle of a conflict, you can manually override your internal translator. Pause and ask yourself, am I responding to what this person actually did, or to what my unhealed heart remembers? Asking this single question removes the automatic authority of our emotions. It gives us a choice, saving us from sacrificing a healthy relationship just because an old wound mistook peace for danger.